Most of us spot the planes flying up in the sky, and the majority tend to watch airplanes in takeoff and landing while in airports. Have you ever wondered about the history of aviation and first flight attempts? In this video, we will talk about the history of aviation. Stay tuned. Since the creation of mankind, aviation history has started, especially when man started noticing the way birds fly up in the sky and think about the way they do it. We can notice that first attempts to analyze the mechanism of flying were through myths and legends that included birds and wings. They were under some religious beliefs to fly and travel not only through the land but through the sky too. Their ambitions and beliefs is clearly obvious in the 24th century BC in the eternal legend which is found in the ancient Sumerian civilization of Iraq, where archaeologists found eternal myth engraved in stone. A king ride on a bird, which indicates that the concept of flying wasn't through off long time ago. In the Egyptian mythologies, many sculptures of birds were found in many temples, especially the bird of Saqqara. We can also find in Greek mythology Daedalus and his son Icarus devised a plan to escape by using wings made of wax that Daedalus had invented. In 5th century BC, Chinese invented the kite, and from China spread to India and to all Asia. And we can still see Indian fighter kites in famous Diwali celebration. In the 4th century BC, Chinese invented also the bamboo copter, which will become the main concept of helicopter later. Hot air balloons invented by Chinese as well. All these were religious beliefs or myths found engraved in stones and old books, or even as toys for kids to play. And there was no mention to any successful scientific flying concept until the 9th century. In the 9th century AD, an Islamic polymath Abbas ibn Firnas made the jump in Cordoba, Andalusia, covering his body with vulture feathers and attaching 2 wings to his body, and this try helped understanding flying. In 1505, Leonardo da Vinci studied bird and bat flight and wrote about and sketched many designs for flying machines and mechanisms. In 1647, the European inventor Tito Livio built an aircraft model with 4 fixed wings. In 1670, Francesco Lana di Terz published some papers about lighter-than-air vacuum ships. In 1709, the Portuguese inventor Bartolomeo de Gasmo improved the idea of airships and presented to the public the propelled ball to the roof by combustion. In 1716, the Swedish inventor Emanuel Swedenborg published the first paper on aviation, sketch of a machine for flying in the air. In 1783, the French inventor Montgolfier brothers invented the hot air balloons, started with unmanned then manned attempts and was successful, and launched their passenger services, and this was the beginning of studying altitude and atmosphere in more details. In 1799, the British inventor Sir George Cayley put the physics of flight and designed the first modern heavier-than-air aircraft. He studied also principles of power-to-weight ratio in sustaining flight, and he was called later the father of aeronautics. Many other inventors demonstrated some planes designs and concepts like Austrian inventor Jacob Dagen, English inventor William Henson, French inventor Henry Giffard, French inventor Jean-Marie Lepré. In 1866, the Royal Aeronautical Society was formed in England. In 1881, Russian inventor Alexander Mazuevsky added some planes designs and concepts. Also French inventor Clément Audé. Also German Otto Lilienthal. And American Samuel Langley and Octave Chanute. And German inventor Gustav Whitehead. During this time, airships were improving to be used in commercial services, especially by Germanian businessman Zeppelin and Brazilian Dormont. And many others tried to design planes, but all these attempts were unsuccessful. As you can see in this video. 1903, two brothers from Dayton, Ohio, Orville and Wilbur, whom were owning a bicycle shop, started working on a simple plane depending on Otto and other invention, and they both successfully flown the first powered takeoff flight in the history. They made the first controlled, sustained flight of a powered heavier-than-air aircraft with their Wright Flyer 1 on December 17, 1903, 4 miles south Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. In 1904-1905, the brothers developed their flying machine into the first practical fixed-wing aircraft, the Wright Flyer 3. Although not the first to build experimental aircraft, the Wright brothers were the first to invent aircraft controls that made fixed-wing powered flight possible. And this was the beginning and start of aviation science and principles of controlled flights, and the beginning of designing more planes to serve in both military and civil aviation. Thank you for watching.